Turnips! Turnips! Get your turnips here! Best turnips in town! Capybara turnips, you can't go wrong. Fat as a bishop's knee and twice as firm. Capybara turnips, fresh from the dirt, still singing. You there with the empty basket. Come and get some turnips. Come on, let me put some turnips in your basket. There you go. Another, oh, that one's a good one. That one's nice and firm. And this one, oh, that one nearly got away. Well, there you go, got it back in the basket. There you go, a few for the folk back at home. 4 for a groat, that's all, you can't go wrong with that. There you go, that'll put a smile on your face and hair on your chest. You have a good day now. Turnips, get your turnips. This is Foundation, and I am Lord Bara. Welcome back to Foundation, everyone. I hope it's going well. I'm feeling a bit under the weather. Yes, even Lord Bara is susceptible to a summer cold. But I don't let it stop me, no, I've got a soldier on. And don't think for even one moment that a town stops working just because you don't feel very well. Oh no, villagers' needs are never ending. And there's a number of things that we need to get on with. Especially now since we've sorted the economy out and we're actually making money again. That's nice. It means that we can get on with managing the town and satisfying the villagers. I did notice this message pinned to the door of the Gilded Paws, and if you're wondering what this is all about, you can pop over to my Patreon and find out what's going on. It's something to do with the foreign knights that are now visiting the town, and I'm going to have to look at that in a little bit more detail today. You see, now that we've built privates' quarters, knights from foreign lands are able to come and visit us, and like any visitor, they have their own needs that need to be fulfilled. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. As you can see, my budget is pretty good. I mean, it's been better, but it's fairly respectable. You will notice though, if you look in detail, that this revenue is not being generated from trade, which is a real shame, and I will continue to do something about that. In fact, it's all coming from those additional taxes. And I could continue to add the rest of those, but as Alex HDL 5166 points out, if you haven't already unlocked the 5th tier of the progression as I have, you might struggle. For each additional tax that you add, you will lose 5 Splendor points. It's something to be aware of. Something that is bothering me is the fact that I've got excess iron bars. There's absolutely no reason why I should have excess iron bars. All of that can be turned into tools, so I think what I need to do is have a look at my tooling situation. I have a hunch, and you may well too, that I may need to add in an additional blacksmith. As you can see here, I actually have 2 blacksmiths, and Capybara has been running quite happily on 2 blacksmiths. You can find them both over in the industrial district, of course. Here they are, 1 and 2. Oh look, they're both at maximum efficiency as well, that's good. Yep, I'm definitely going to need to add in an additional blacksmith. Perhaps that's a job for another day though. I do have other things in mind. Another thing that I want to do, and this one might be a bit risky actually, now that I've got some money flowing into the economy, don't forget, I want to draw your attention back to the whole purpose of Capybara, and that is, it is focused on military. This is a frontier town, the extension of the hand of the king. The point of it is to raise armies, protect the borders, and extend, when necessary, the king's influence into the land. And as yet, I haven't actually promoted any knights. I'm still gearing up for it. Knights are expensive, so it's worthwhile waiting until you're actually prepared to do so. And that's why I say it might be a bit risky, because either I'm ready or I'm not. I can't think of anything else that knights might need. I mean, they're going to get all of the basic foods, the fancy foods, they're going to get all of the goods and the luxuries that they need. We produce them all here in Capybara. And now that they've got private quarters, well, what's stopping me? The economy was, but now it's not. I hope. But if you find yourself in the position that I am now, you can test this theory out before you do that, because once you promote your knights, then you're kind of stuck with them. So here's a soft way to do it. Get your royal courtier out here and begin your royal duties. It takes a minute, but through the magic of editing, you'll be able to watch my progress speed along. Ta-da! Royal duties resumed. What's going to happen now is I'm going to start getting visitors in the forms of militiamen and knights. I'm pretty sure that I can cope with their additional needs, so I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to promote as many knights as I can. Really, I only need 3, so I'm going to stick with 3 right now. The point of knights is that they give you additional power in your battles, and they're also required to do the highest level of the military campaigns. So let's take out 3 likely militiamen that are worthy of being promoted. So I've got up here Cynthius and Odelbald. They look like strong candidates. And here we have Walren. I can't think of 3 more worthy candidates to get this promotion. Remember that they have gone through all of the training and they have gained all of the experience that they need in order to fulfill their criteria for the promotion. So they really have earned it, I believe. Except, it appears, Walren. Why is that? Okay, so the way that this works, you need to have 5 soldiers for every knight. That doesn't mean you have 5 soldiers and then you promote one and then you get a knight. Think of a knight as a captain, so he will captain 5 soldiers. So now that I've promoted 2 soldiers into knights, I'm actually 2 soldiers short of getting my 3rd knight. You know what? I think I'll take that as a sign and hold off on this 3rd promotion for the time being, which is a shame because I'm tantalizingly close. But it's fine, I'll send them out on the village crawl as usual. And that way we'll be able to find out what 2 knights does to the town's food and goods supplies. It's easy to get ahead of yourself. It feels good to have some knights. It's a major landmark for Capybara, and a big responsibility. Go on, off with your lass. Oh, hello, you found me in the cattle shed. I was just looking around on my way up to West Cappenfield. You can see it just over there. Some of the more eagle-eyed villagers may have noticed that when we built West Cappenfield, we didn't add any real detail to it. And there's an area over here which has always bothered me where there really needs to be a house. So I've come back over to address a few issues. One of which will also be to add in something that I didn't want to do, but I'm going to do anyway. If we look over here at the resources, because I built so much pasture, we're now producing absolutely churns and churns full of milk. I've added in as many cheesemakers into Capybara as I can physically fit in there, I think, without it feeling like Cheese Town. So I'm going to add another one here in West Cappenfield and distribute the load. So let's go ahead and grab the cheesemaker out of the build menu. There we go, cheesemaker. Where would be a good place to put this? I'm not going to put it down in that space where I'm going to need to have a house, because every single one of these houses is already full to the max. It won't fit behind the tavern there. Definitely not going in the house spot. Tempting though it is. There's an area over there on the left which is quite open. There's already a house there though. I wonder if it'll interfere if I stick it on the side. I don't care if it's making it an undesirable neighbourhood. If I can help it, I'm not going to promote these cheesemakers to commoners, so I shouldn't need any common housing. But this looks like it's going to fit here, isn't it? It's not turning the houses red, so... I mean, it's sitting in their garden. The only thing I can do is try it, right? Put it down and then see if they can get access to all of the parts around it. Let's go. Alright, so I'm not going to sit there and watch that build. It's a cheesemaker's. After all, what I am going to do is start detailing the town. I think I'll start here with the church. And there's not even a cross on this church, so I think I need to rectify that, don't I? When I originally come through a location, what I usually do, I have in my mind, is a first, a second and a third pass. The building of Capybara really for me was just the first pass, where I get the road layout that I think I like and also that makes sense. Because remember, villagers are coming up this road here from Capybara, past this tavern, down past the church and into the town square. And then they can exit out of the other side of the town, so it's efficient for them to do that. Any villagers that live here in West Cappenfield come and go through another gate, which is on the other side of the church. That goes behind the tavern, and then you can get to berry picking and hunting. So I've tried to imagine a road network that serves both people coming and going to the main town and also visitors that come from out of town, and also the inhabitants of West Cappenfield itself. Try to make it efficient for them as well. By the way, I love these little square plinths on the corners of walls. I think it really sets them off and makes them look quite special. I know this is a very small area. I mean, it's pathetically tiny really, but you'd be surprised what you can do with very small areas in Foundation. As you can see, I've managed to fit a shrine in and a bench and also a statue. That's not all, I can fit plenty more in here. Let's get a bush or two in, shall we? There, you can put even a nice rounded bush on the edge of that. Now I've created a very small, intimate, churchy garden space for people to use, and it's right in the middle of town. Call it a town, it's not really a town at all, is it? It's a tiny little village. Now there's an area at the back of the church here which I'm going to fill full of gravestones, I think, but I also want to give them access to that. I like this archway here, that'll make it stand out a bit. And I could happily fill this whole back section up here with gravestones. I'm also going to need to encourage people to want to go here, because there's absolutely no reason for them to go and visit the gravestones, which is a shame. I think there should be a little animation where they go and pray or bow their head or something at the gravestones, but they don't. So the only way to encourage them to go and walk by them, at least, is to put a bench there. At least I can imagine a villager going and sitting on a bench and thinking about their long lost loved ones. There we go, at least it'll get used now that a little path will form there. Ah, while that was going on, don't forget that my royal courtier has been at court, and apparently that's gone well. And off the back of that, I've got some coin, which is always nice, and some splendour. And as you can see, that's made a big impact. Something is going on in the middle of town though, and I'm not quite sure why this has happened, but it looks like I am out of housing. And there are four people complaining, 3 complaining, but one of them will be complaining soon. Oh, there you go. They're already complaining now. So I think I need to pop over to town for a minute. Do you mind following me? Right. Who are the problems with? Let's see. So I've been filtering around, and there's problems with villagers and knights and tax collectors. Let's start with the tax collector, shall we? Oh, he lives up at Hilltop. Or rather, he works up at Hilltop. He doesn't live anywhere, does he? Right, well, I'm going to do something a little bit out of character here, and I'm going to be a bit heavy-handed with this. Hilltop is a little bit neglected, and I think it's going to remain so for a little bit longer. I'm going to quickly put a house in here, and I will come back and I will deal with Hilltop separately on another occasion. That should satisfy the tax collector over there. Now, over in town, there's a problem with the knights. And there are 2 problems actually. The first one is the knights that are coming into town as part of the royal courtier. Aside from the fact that they can't quite meet their needs, some of them can't get lodging. And that is obviously because there's not quite enough private quarters built here. So let's add in another vestibule. And I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of merge it into the existing one here on this street and try to make it blend in. I do want it to follow the curve of this road though, so I want to be a little bit particular about it. That'll do nicely. Now, that might satisfy the demand of the foreign knights, but it doesn't sort out the issue that I was having with my own 2 knights, the only 2 knights that I have. They were also complaining that they don't have anywhere to live. Each of the 3 companies that I have are associated with these 3 buildings here. And unfortunately, they're a little bit too far away from the private quarters that I've built all the way over at Riverside. I hadn't anticipated that. So, no big deal. I'm just going to have to build an additional private quarters a little bit closer to where they're stationed. And here seems like the perfect location. Off the back of this, it's just treasury that was being used for heavy fortification in order to make the houses around it tier 3. So I'm happy to just blend in and merge in a little bit of extra same type of building in with this, and you'll never even know that it wasn't supposed to be there. Plus, it makes the area feel a little bit more dense. Right, disaster averted, housing needs all met. Where was I? Ah yes, I was detailing up West Cappenfield and I was just finishing off this church here. A few more bushes in the grounds here, and I think that's more or less done, isn't it? Yeah, I think that'll do. It's only a small church. Ooh, and our cheesemaker is also completed, so we're going to need some people to work in there. We don't have anybody available at the moment, so while we wait for them to walk down the hill into the middle of town, let's move on. There are 3 monuments in West Cappenfield. The church monument, it's kind of a monument, and there's the manor house, and then there's also the inn here. This inn in West Cappenfield is a traveller's rest stop, and as such it deserves to have a number of places where travellers can rest their horses. I'm going to put an area out the front here where passers-by can drop off a horse while they pop in. Get rid of these bits of wall, and that was being owned by this house here, but no longer. The house is getting a slightly smaller plot. Make sure to put a door on. So now this frontage area here is owned by the tavern. Let's dress up the rest of the tavern while we're here as well. So I'd like to have a shingle out the front, and so people know that it's a place for getting your beer. And I want to put some dormers on the end of the public lounge here to make that stand out a little bit more. They don't do anything functionally for the building, they just make it look nice. Unfortunately, this bit of dormer here doesn't play very nicely with this post. That's a shame. I would have liked this one here. It's a shame that the post doesn't go on the dormer, it goes on the actual building itself. Never mind. I'll go back to this one. It still looks good. I just need to make sure that the other one is matching it. If we put another dormer on the end of the berry brewer here, it'll jut out into this villager's garden, and they'll hate it, but I'll love it. Don't forget a few little bushes out front to make it look pretty. You think I can get a tree in somewhere? There we go. There's some compensation to this villager. Let's put a tree in the garden. Oh, okay, and they've arrived in town now, so let's go and pick up, see who we've got actually. Looks like ladies. Hello, 3 ladies who are destined to become cheese maidens of West Cappenfield. I'm sure they won't get into any trouble. And this is where they're going to work. Cheesemakers take 5 employees, so can get a couple more in there, but they're going to need somewhere to live, aren't they? I know the perfect location for that, and it's just behind the inn here, but there's a problem because that has been available to have a house in for a long time, and I waited a little minute there. No house is spawning in, so it means that that area is just too small. I'm going to rectify that by slightly changing the configuration of the town wall here. If I bring it over to the side here, that should give enough space for a house to spawn in. I'm going to have to move this farm's fence, which also means I'm going to need to slightly change the farm shape and layout. It's too small now, the farm. Let's stick it down on the hill here a little bit. Don't need much. I'll come back and redo the fencing for that at a later date. And I can move this wall here. Make sure that all the housing space is in. Hopefully that will be adequate now. There you go. A little bit of attention to detail and you get what you want. The entire town here is surrounded by low fortified walls. So this house will initially, they spawn in with only having 2 occupancy, but they get to a certain point and then they suddenly change to 6. So initially it will get spawned in like this, and then it will suddenly become this, and then there'll be 6 people in there. And that's more than enough because I've only got 3 additional people in there, so there should be some extra housing. So let's grab another couple. In they go, and then if I check on the housing, yeah, it's all good. Right, what's next for West Cappenfield? I think we'll look at the manor. You know, I've got away with it for long enough. I better put some chimneys on before the chimney police come and get me. There's a little area on the side of this manor house where the builder's workshop is, and I'm going to do something with that. I'm going to turn it into its own private little builder's workshop area, and give it its own access way. I think that's a little bit too big though. Let's go with something a little bit more modest than this, I think. No, it doesn't really fit in. Most of the time, the builder's workshop is not doing anything at all. In fact, the builders just sit around idle and they don't contribute. They're only serfs. I'd never upgrade them, promote them, I should say. But they just sit around and twiddle their thumbs most of the time, except when I'm doing things like this. So if I didn't have a builder's workshop here in West Cappenfield, all of this detailing work would take a really long time, because the builders that are down in Capybara would have to travel and bring all of the resources with them up to the town, and that would take a really long time because they'd need to travel. So any time that you build a little outpost or something of substance, you need to really have at least one builder's workshop dedicated. I could have moved the builders that are already in Capybara up here and deleted their building and then moved it up here, and they would have come, but then that would have messed up the housing in the town. So I don't like to do that if possible. Let me know in the comments how you deal with it. That's just how I personally organise the builders workshops. This is the tax collector's office, and let's give this a little bit of love and attention. I'm going to blend this into the housing that's around it as well. There's a few assets in the manor house which allow you to make it fit in with the town housing and the housing. This one's getting a special chimney. And here's some little wood chopping wood sheds for this house over here. And of course, a signpost. There's another little area on the other side of this watch post here, which is kind of vacant space, and it's just behind this butcher's. What I'm going to do with that is make it into a place where you can park your horses. You do park horses? You don't park horses, do you? You rest them, where you can rest your horses. I almost forgot, there is another bit of monument in West Cappenfield. It's the castle, and I've used it for the light fortification of the surrounding walls, and I've got a couple of towers, one at either end. I wanted to show you something I discovered. This tower has no access to the walkway next to it, but with this asset, you're able to create a little doorway onto it. You villagers or you militiamen, they won't use it, so it doesn't work, but I've been looking for a way to make it look more realistic for a while now, and I finally figured it out. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to also use the castle monument now to put lanterns down throughout the main road in the town. So at night you can walk through the town and feel safe. I'm happy with this sleepy little hamlet, nestled on the brow of Capybara Hill. It's home to the simple folk and farmers, working the land, providing the food for the people of the realm. They're a tight-knit community with everything they need, from a church to an inn. And now, with the addition of a cheesemaker, they'll have no problems meeting their needs now and in the future. Thank you, West Cappenfield. Before I leave you alone, though, there's one more thing that I would like to do. Behind the tavern inn there's also a little space which I would like to do something with. At the front there, we've got a little pit stop for the horses, but at the back here, I would like to create an area for people who are going to be staying with us a little bit longer. So we don't have horses stables as an asset, but that's okay. I'm going to create a little area here where horses can be kept for overnight. Don't forget the flowers at the door. And there we have it. It's surprising what you can do with little spaces. Now, if you ever decided to come over to West Cappenfield, you've got plenty of places to put your horse up. Well, that's all I've got time for. I don't think I'll be back over at West Cappenfield, but I hope you've enjoyed your time here with me. If you think I missed anything out, let me know in the comments. If you made it this far, hit the like button. And on a personal note, I was supposed to have a pie delivered to me the other day. Let me know in the comments if you have any idea where that might have gotten to. Anyway, I'll just say, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. This has been Foundation, and I have been Lord Bara.